I'm not going to say good evening. I'm not going to say good evening because we're in all different time zones, but welcome. I'm Sarah Thurston. I'm the Director of International Student and Scholar Services at Kansas State University, and I'm also the Chair of the Annual Conference Committee for San Diego. So just a couple reminders to go over as we start. This session will be recorded and it will be posted on the nafsa.org/proposals website. And so if you want to go back and check something, you can look there. If you have any questions for us, please use the Q&A function. And if you'd like to use the chat, that can be chat amongst the attendees. So all of you will, as attendees, will be muted and off camera. So thank you for joining us for this session. And Nami, could you introduce yourself?
Sure. Hi, everyone. My name is Nami Baginvano. I'm the program manager for Tomodachi Initiative with the U.S.-Japan Council in Tokyo, Japan. So it's 7 a.m. here. So good morning, everyone. I'm serving as the content chair for the annual conference in San Diego this year. It's nice to see everyone.
Anna?
Hi, everyone. I'm Anna Hayes. I'm the Director of Global Health and Safety at Duke University, and I am the poster chair for the 2025 Annual Conference Committee.
Thank you. Maybe we can go to the next slide, please. Great. So these are the objectives of today's information session. Let's learn about the annual conference goals for 2025, and we will review the submission and selection process together, then explore tips on creating a strong and compelling proposal. And it is your space and time to ask questions while ACC team members and NAFSA staff members are here to support you as well. Next slide, please. Great. So we would like to do a quick poll. Please complete the following sentence. I really like conference sessions that ... So let's take a moment and please tell us how you would finish the sentence. Feel free to share your thoughts in the chat space as well. Anna, I will put you on the spot right now. So how would you finish this sentence?
Yeah, thanks, Nami. I really enjoy conference sessions and workshops that are engaging and get me interacting with other attendees so I can network and learn from my counterparts and peers.
Thank you. Sarah, do you want to add something here?
I love takeaways, something that I can take back to my office and implement or discuss with my staff.
Thank you. I see great comments from the audience right now. Thank you, thank you, thank you. So yeah, I personally like a session that gives me new ideas and inspiration at the same time. So those are some of the things that we can keep in mind when crafting your own proposal. So what was it about certain sessions or workshops that you really liked? For example, was it the idea you could apply immediately to your work after the conference, like Sarah said? And was it a new way to look at the challenge? Was it a topic that you had limited knowledge of and wanted to learn more? And did the session keep your attention? Was it well organized? Was it logical? Was it engaging? So remember the things that you like about a session, and we recommend you use those to craft your own proposal. So now I will turn it over to Sarah. So next slide, please.
Great, thank you. So the NAFSA Annual Conference brings together the global international education community to reflect, celebrate, inspire, and create. And I'm so happy to talk about the theme for 2025, which is purpose, place, and partnership. So the theme is asking presenters to submit by reflecting on some of these questions. So the first pillar of purpose, some guiding questions that you might ask as you're looking at this theme is, what attracted us to this profession? What is our mission? How can international educators make an impact? What have we learned from the past to help us navigate the future? What skills do we need to achieve our purpose? And what skills do our faculty and students need? And then under the pillar of place, what does place mean to us as international educators in times of global and technological change? What is a local identity, and how can it help us tackle global challenges? What is the student-scholar concept of place? How do we see place in times of global turmoil, and how does it impact our work? Then the final pillar is partnership. Who are our internal and external partners, and how do we develop strategic partnerships with them? How can we collaborate better to achieve shared goals? How do we support robust relationships with our partners, considering their different priorities? And finally, how do we create successful collaborative work environments for our teams? Each year, the Annual Conference Committee uses principles to meet the conference program, to develop the conference program, such as meet challenges by sharing lessons learned, diverse perspectives, and innovative approaches. Explore trends in professional development and career advancement, and advocate for the well-being of all as we plan for the future of international education. Create intentional community building and networking experiences. Ensure that the conference is accessible to all. Highlight global thought leadership and multi-generational perspectives. Underscore the global imperative for social justice and access, and the importance of inclusive internationalization for long-term impact at our institutions, as well as our local and global communities. Next slide, please. So each year we pick a number of areas we want to highlight as priorities for the coming year. The full list of these can be found on the call for proposals, which is available on our website, nafsa.org/proposals, and in the handout that one of my colleagues is going to place in the chat. So this slide is illustrative of a few of our priority content areas. So we have borders, displacement and resettlement as an example, data analysis and new technology, best practices from NAFSA's knowledge communities. So all of these are examples. So we're particularly interested in great solution-oriented topics for the field. What will help folks in their day-to-day jobs, as well as international perspectives. We can learn a lot from each other around the world. As you think about your proposal topic, or if you're still not sure what to propose, these content priorities are a great place for you to start. As we highlighted in the general call for proposals, we invite you to be bold, creative, and inclusive. Make a compelling pitch. Next slide, please. So when you're submitting a session or workshop proposal, you will be asked to consider your target audience. For sessions and workshops, you have to pick which audience your submission applies to. So the audience categories are the knowledge communities that are within NAFSA, and NAFSA has 5 of them. So the first one is education abroad. Proposals for this audience are focused on inclusive advising and study abroad, safety and risk management, innovative program design, leadership and change management, and rebuilding programming following the COVID-19 pandemic. International education leadership is another knowledge community, so proposals for this audience are focused on advocacy for international education, leadership development, budgeting and management models, commitment to belonging, diversity, equity, and inclusion, navigating current geopolitical trends, and comprehensive internationalization. The knowledge community of international enrollment management. We're looking for proposals for this audience that are focused on admissions, recruitment, enrollment management, marketing, credential evaluation, sponsored student programs, and intensive English programs. In the knowledge community of international student and scholar services, proposals for this audience are focused on complying with immigration regulations, orienting, advising, supporting, and providing programming for inbound students and scholars. In the knowledge community regarding teaching, learning, and scholarship, proposals are focused on cross-cultural communication competence, curriculum internationalization, graduate students, faculty development, intercultural training, learning experiences of students at all levels, and scholarly research that directly informs the work of international education practice. And then finally, we have shared interest. We consider proposals as shared interest when they relate to 3 or more of the knowledge communities. It's what we like to call pan-NAFSA. For example, you'll see the infograph lists 3 panelists across 3 different areas of an institution, which could lead to a really effective shared interest proposal. So you see it combines student advising, admissions, and intercultural learning. Now I'll turn it back over to Nami to talk more specifics on the proposal form. Next slide, please.
Thank you. So each submitter is required to select the submission type when they enter the proposal portal. Here are the different types of proposals. You will see 2 length of our regular sessions. It is either 50 minutes or 25 minutes. There are also workshops and poster presentations that you can submit your proposal for. Each of them has a different set of questions that allow it to be reviewed on the different criteria. So let's take a look at the details for these different types of proposals on the next slide. Okay, so if you're proposing a session, we ask you to propose either a 25 minutes or 50 minutes length. As you are crafting your proposal, choose the length and setup that is most appropriate for your topic. So 50-minute sessions are the average length of our sessions, and most of the sessions will be accepted into this format. I think one of the somebody was asking about the question, how many people can be included? So for this format, you can have up to 4 presenters, including 1 chair and 3 presenters. And 25-minute sessions are short form sessions, and we like it calling it as to the point sessions. It is a relatively new format in the conference program, and this is pretty unique presentation opportunity for you to propose a topic that will take less than the usual hour. For 25-minute sessions, we encourage you to focus on a single clear idea or focus on the core message and or the concept that you are passionate about. So focus on 3 to 4 supporting points of your idea or topic. So be concise, focus on the core message, and avoid unnecessary details. So this format will allow you to have up to 2 presenters, including the chair. Next slide, please. Okay, so if you feel like your topic merits greater length and a more in-depth exploration and conversations, consider submitting a workshop. You can submit for a 2-hour or 4-hour workshop. NAFSA current topics workshops, CTWs, cover topics and skills that are important to international educators today, including recent changes, new approaches, and timely content. So CTWs provide really valuable perspectives and insights into critical trends advancing the field of international education. As you can imagine, a workshop is an immersive experience where both the trainers and the participants have a role. So some of the adjectives I can think of for good workshop are highly engaging, hands-on training, collaborative problem solving. So attendees are very active participants, unlike in a session where the attendee kind of expects to learn from the presenters and can be either an active or passive participant. Again, workshop proposals can be for either a 2-hour time or 4-hour time. So this infographic, it kind of explains about workshops with some more details. As a as a potential workshop trainer, be thinking about your delivery methods as well, how you're going to use your time, and exactly what the participants will come away with. Remember that the workshops are collaborative experience, so make sure that you hone your proposal so that the reviewers can see how you're spending your extra time. So now I will turn it over to Anna, our wonderful experienced poster chair, to talk about our favorite part of the conference, poster fairs.
Thanks, Nami. Yes, posters are the most fun. You may be thinking to yourself, what is a poster? So posters are visual presentations of model practices and programs. They are grouped by thematic fairs, and poster presenters and attendees have a really unique opportunity to have one-on-one discussions about the topics presented on the visuals. Some key things to remember about posters are the best posters are well-researched and have a good plan for future follow-up. They consider how to convey your ideas with visuals, and they are specific with intentional intentional with key takeaways. Posters allow for presenters to network with the visitors of the poster fair and with the other poster presenters. The deadline for poster proposals is also later. It's December 5th, 2024. And so we'll look at the next slide at the thematic themes of our posters. So here you can see the 2025 poster themes. These are kind of big bucket topic areas of interest to the field of international education that will also allow for creativity in individual presentations. So just a few examples, we have our risk prevention and crisis response, internationalizing the campus, model practices and insights for education abroad, international enrollment management, and international student and scholar services. And new for this year are uses of AI and technology in international education. So now I'll turn it back to Nami to go over proposal submission requirements.
Okay, great. Thank you. Let's go over the key steps next. So here's the quick run through of what to expect when you log into the proposal page, no matter what you're proposing. Of course, your proposal needs a good title and aligned abstract. You will also be asked to list your learning objectives, which describe what attendees will learn. Make sure that you have thought this out thoroughly. We have seen, unfortunately, a number of really good proposals not being accepted because learning objectives were incomplete or too passive or not really achievable in the session time frame, even though the abstract was really engaging. A good learning objective always has an action verb. So start the sentence by saying, after the sessions, attendees will be able to do ABC. As we mentioned earlier, you also have to pick your audience. So think which knowledge community would benefit from your session. It can be for the shared interest category as well, if your topic is applicable across the cases. Please remember that the presenter bio information must be included, and it is actually a key part of the review process. You will need some time to gather that information, so don't wait until the last minute. If you have submitted proposals in the past, please know that the NAFSA has made some updates here and really simplify the process for adding co-presenters to your proposal. The person who is submitting the proposal just needs to cut and paste into the online form the co-presenter's name, email, position, title, organization, and a bio information for each co-presenter, and have the online system send the co-presenters an email so that they can agree to be part of the proposal at their end. So it's super easy. On the proposal form and web pages, we have included a very handy guide to help you navigate the proposal system. Okay. Okay, so remember that one of the review criteria is around expertise of the presenters. One pro tip is to make sure that the bios of your presenters really demonstrate their experience with the topic that you have proposed. Lastly, but not least, be aware of the deadlines. A rushed proposal is kind of obvious to the reviewers and the annual conference committee, so don't wait, start now. All proposals must be submitted online by the deadline. It is August 28th, 5 p.m. Eastern Time for sessions and workshops. And the deadline for poster proposal is a bit later, as Anna said, it is December 5th at 5 p.m. Eastern. Next slide, please. Okay, so you may be wondering what the review process is like. All proposals are peer reviewed. So review teams are based on the NAFSA's knowledge communities. As Sarah explained earlier, these are teaching, learning, and scholarship, international student and scholar services, international education leadership, education abroad, and international enrollment management, and shared interest. There are many reviewers on each proposal, and the number of reviewers last year was pretty impressive, and it was 650 from across the field and across the world. My understanding is that we're almost hitting the benchmark of 650 again this year, so it's very exciting. The reviewers use a review rubric to evaluate proposals. There is a clear guideline as well. And their review scores are shared with the annual conference committee, which is charged with the final selection based on the reviewer scores, ACC goals, content priorities, and NAFSA's strategic priorities. FYI, if you have not signed up for to become a reviewer, this is your chance. The deadline to sign up for the reviewer is coming up soon. It's July 31st. So it's a great micro volunteer opportunity as well. Okay, next slide, please. Okay, so the review rubric requires each proposal to be rated on a scale of 1 to 5 for these criteria. I'll just read it out loud. How well do the title, abstract, and the learning objectives align with each other? How likely is it that the format will allow participants to achieve the stated learning objectives? Are the presenters knowledgeable in this topic area? And lastly, given the limited number of slots available for sessions and the high volume of proposals received, how likely would you be to attend or recommend someone attend this session if placed on the program? So we hope this information is helpful and it gives a transparency. Okay, back to Anna regarding posters.
Yeah, so for posters, the poster fair organizers, annual conference committee members, and additional select reviewers will also peer review the poster proposals in the winter, with final selections being made by the annual conference committee in coordination with the poster fair organizers. Each poster proposal will also be rated on a scale of 1 to 5 for appropriateness of the topic for poster format, importance of the topic to the audience, and meeting the NAFSA non-commercial policy. So now Sarah's going to jump in to cover more information and tips.
So there have been many questions about the proposal process and becoming a presenter. Here are some answers to the frequently asked questions that the committee gets. So all presenters must register for the conference. That's a key thing. Presenters do not receive compensation. However, session and workshop presenters receive 20% off registration, and poster presenters receive 10% off. You can submit as many session, workshops, and poster proposals as you would like. However, there is a limit on how many sessions and workshops a presenter can be a part of if accepted. The number of accepted sessions depends on the number and quality of submissions. Roughly 25 to 30% are accepted. Next slide, please. Now that we had an overview, I'm going to go into some specific tips. A great proposal captures the reviewer's imagination and gets them enthusiastic and excited about the topic. Reviewers are looking for things that they believe will engage the audience and can bring a new perspective on an old topic or creates a new way of thinking about something not considered before. We're looking for fresh ideas and fresh voices. And now we're going to share some tips with you. So tip number 1, as we go through this, all of these are actual tips from reviewers, and so it's helpful for you to know these. So tip 1 is be sure to read the call for proposals, the CFP, and link your topic to the NAFSA audience. We welcome proposals on many different topics related to our international education field. Also, be authentic. Consider making connection between yourself, your topic, and the conference theme. Questions to ask as you think about proposing. What draws you to this topic? If there are many proposals on the topic, what are you bringing that sets you apart? What makes your proposal unique? And what about you makes you the right person to present? So that is the information on tip 1. So let's go on to tip 2. The reviewer feedback was the topic under discussion is a cutting edge one for the field. So we are looking for topics that are timely and solution oriented. There are many conversations to have around enhancing our work in the field and how to work through those challenges. Think out of the box. Think about something that you may not have seen on the program before, but it would be useful for attendees. We welcome creativity and also welcome proposals that include foundational learning for those new to the field, as well as proposals for those who are senior in their career. So tip number 3. This topic is growing all aspects of our professional lives. This topic is relevant and will provide insight to attendees. So consider the work or job related information that your audience needs. What will help them do their jobs better? Within your learning objective, make sure you show how the information conveyed in your session will help them find solutions and further their professional development. What is the value of the session content when they return to their work? Tip number 4. The presenters are well qualified in their current roles to speak on the topic. So the Annual Conference Committee welcomes proposals that come from the diversity within the field. Depending on the topic, and if you're proposing a panel, including a diversity of voices helps us see that your panel is broadly relevant and comprehensive. Diversity can also mean type and size of institution. Be thoughtful about the chemistry of your panel of presenters and ask yourself if their experience and knowledge meld well. However, please note that proposals with only a single presenter are allowable for 50 and 25-minute sessions. Nami, can you take tip 5, please?
Sure. Proposal tip number 5. It is not all about the abstract. So title, abstract, and the learning objectives really should align with each other. So on the proposal form, you will be asked to articulate the post-conference value of your session. What skills, new ideas, or resources will they learn by attending your presentation? So the post-conference value question should align with your learning objectives. So make sure to spend some time to think about the why of your session. So these are some important reminders. So use strong action verbs in your learning objectives. Make it clear what topics you will cover. Avoid jargon. Don't use acronyms too much. And these are some of the comments from the past reviewers. Tip number 6. Okay, so think about who will benefit from your presentation and their career level. We welcome proposals that are designed for advanced, mid-career, and new professionals because we do have international educators with the various years of experiences as conference attendees. Clearly state this in your proposal so that the committee will know which audience your session is geared for. Other questions around the audience to ask yourself and articulate in your proposal are, who are you presenting your session for? So know your NAFSA knowledge community. Is this advanced content? What areas of international education would benefit from your topic? So tip number 7. Highlight unique ways you're going to engage with your audience, especially for a 50-minute session or a workshop. For a 50-minute session, although this is not a lot of time, even doing a quick poll of audience can be beneficial. You could also have your audience simply, turn around and talk to the neighbors for a minute or two. And this really encourages people to learn from others in the audience and make connections as well. With only 50 minutes, people will want substantive information presented. Good sessions should also think about how the audience learns and also how they will need to learn best given the topic. For example, if you are presenting on a very complex immigration compliance issue, perhaps more presentation time is needed in order to convey the information needed by the attendees. If you are presenting on creative new ideas around, let's say, International Education Week or orientation, maybe some time for audience to share their ideas and thoughts would be appropriate. So for workshop, you should definitely include a much more detailed plan regarding engagement, such as small group exercises, dialogue, sharing, and so on. Okay, I'll continue with tip number 8. Make a connection between your topic and the conference theme, purpose, place, and a partnership. If your topic is strongly aligned with the conference theme, go ahead and weave that into your proposal and find a good balance. Connecting your session to the conference theme could also demonstrate reviewers and the conference committee that you read the call for proposal. However, reviewers will know if you just write your title randomly and loosely associated with the theme in the hopes of being accepted. Please know that it's not necessary and it may not be too appropriate given the topic you're proposing. So I really like the comment here. This looks like an excellent and a very timely session, timed perfectly with the theme of the NAFSA this year. So reviewers are paying attention to the theme of the conference as well. Okay, turn it over to Anna.
Yeah, so tip number 9 is plan ahead. Do not wait until the deadline. Make sure you give yourself and your panelists ample time to complete all the necessary elements of the proposal and the submission and to log in and complete their tasks. Remember, one of the evaluation criteria for the proposal is around the presenters. Be sure all the presenters who will produce the sessions are listed and clear. You can see the peer reviewer feedback here. Only a single presenter with others TBD, and the proposal looks hurried and incomplete. So that'll show for the reviewers if you're not prepared and have waited until the deadline. And then our last tip number 10, is get a second set of eyes. You may end up being too close to the proposal to see if everything lines up. So take a step back and get feedback from someone in your network to make sure that your proposal makes sense to others. Make sure the proposal aligns with the format you have chosen, whether that's a 25-minute, 50-minute, or a workshop. And the learning objectives can be accomplished in the time frame. People want to help you. That's one of the things I love most about our field of international education. People want to help. So having a second set of eyes, using your network, and making sure that something you're excited about that makes sense to others is in your proposal. We don't want you to wait until the last minute because we want you to have the best proposal possible. The peer reviewer feedback here is that the mix of topics is confusing and too much to cover in a 50-minute session. And with that, we finished our tips. So let's go over a few key dates. It's just a reminder. The proposal deadline for sessions and workshops is August 28th at 5 p.m. Eastern US time. December 5th at 5 p.m. Eastern is the deadline for posters. Notification will happen in late November for sessions and workshops, and in February 2025 for posters. If you have questions, you can contact us at proposals@nafsa.org. And if you're having trouble finding someone to be on your panel, they can, just a reminder, they can be from anywhere in the world. Reach out to your networks, post on Network, NAFSA, LinkedIn, et cetera, to find a presenter or other presenters for your panel. And now we want to just open it up for questions.
So thank you all for joining us today. And as a reminder, the recording of the session will be posted at www.nafsa.org/proposals. And Rod has also put the additional documents that we wanted to share with you in the chat one last time. So one is the call for proposal, what the review rubric looks like, and the I'm not sure which one, the proposal again. Yes, it's possible to submit the same topic for a poster and a workshop. And again, if you have any questions, please submit them via the Q&A. I think we've been doing a good job of keeping up with the questions in the chat and the Q&A. Let's see. 2025 is not the first year for a 25-minute session. They've been going on for at least 2 years already. There's a question in the Q&A. Anna Nami, would you like to answer? How to make sure the topic is neither too broad or too narrow? While you guys are thinking about that, I can tell you that the audience size for the 25-minute sessions were just as large as some of the 50-minute sessions. The documents Rod shared in the chat, so you can scroll back up.
Yeah, Lucas, this is a great question. Abstract, title, those information, you need to be very, very concise because I believe there are a limited number of words that you can use. So, yeah, Sarah, what would you say to Lucas's question? Too broad or too narrow? Yeah.
I think it's a great opportunity to talk with a colleague and see what can fit in a 25-minute or 50-minute session to see how feasible it is.
And then make sure to be able to put the essence, like important essence that you really want to convey to the audience into the abstract. So, but again, I think that you have 50 minutes time if you're proposing 50-minute session. So I think for 25, we said focus on a single topic. So I think that's something that you can think about which format would be appropriate for you, Lucas. Thank you.
Anna, we would recommend that you send your proposal to a colleague in the field because we're already reviewing all the applications. So it'd be best if you ask a fellow international educator.
Elder, regarding your question, we welcome proposals from um, uh, different countries and in different regions of the world. We definitely want to include diverse voices into the conference program. So yes, if you are knowledgeable on issues and trends in Middle East, we would love to see your proposal. And our reviewers will take a look, and annual conference team will make a decision. So yes, proposals from international attendees with international perspectives, it is definitely encouraged. So thank you.
And there's a question whether to submit a 25 and a 50-minute. Like if you really want to present on a topic and you are able to do a 25-minute session or a 50-minute session, you're more than welcome to submit a session for both styles. That is perfectly acceptable. Occasionally, there is a chance that a session could be asked that was submitted as like a 50-minute session to be tweaked to be a 25-minute session. Sometimes that does happen.
And vice versa.
Yes.
And also can be sometimes recommended to think about poster fair as the presentation format as well. So.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
The beauty about the later poster fair deadline is that if you submit for a session and you're not accepted for the proposal, you can always resubmit it as a poster and do it that format as well.
Any other last minute questions? Well, we really appreciate you joining us from morning, midday, or evening, wherever you are. And we look forward to reading your proposals once they come in. And thank you for those last minute reminders, Rod. And submit those proposals. Thank you all.
Thank you.